Okay, so we have the recording and I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Please confirm you can see my screen.
I can't see your screen.
Okay. Give me a minute. Yes. Okay, it should be up now, right?
It's not up yet, but it's coming up. It's
Oh,
still
okay.
okay. It's up now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, where was I? I've lost my train of thought. Okay. So it boils down to you practicing. We are here, I'm here. And I would say if you are having any issue, you are maybe you are watching a video online, you saw some them doing something. Oh, they did it this way, they did this way. You are curious, you want to ask, Matthew, what happened here? I'm seeing this and this, how did this person do this? When I tell you, oh, this is what this person did, this is what this person did. It's very exciting. Learning is usually exciting. And I'm always interested in people like that. I'm always passionate because you are not just asking me, right? You are also pushing me to want to learn as well. So obviously, I don't want to force my own hand by not knowing it. I don't know if you get. So because you don't want to ask me a
Yeah.
question, I cannot answer the question. It means that I should go and buckle up, and I have to go and buckle up to do that as well. So you have the Jomiloju here. This man, I know when he was learning, then that's how he kept on tormenting my life, and he went on a different dimension or different. He was focused on different things entirely, and so it was new to me. It was strange to me, but at the end of the day, it's still a little bit of the experience that I have across other area that I'm able to answer some of his questions. But along the line, he has become proficient in his own area. So that brings me to the tools. So as we proceed, you'll be seeing us talking Excel, talking SQL, talking Power BI. Now everybody now has their what do I call it? What's the word for it? They have their specialties or they have their most favorite tool. We might start this Excel. I've seen somebody register for a course like this. And I was like, I chatted the person and said, how I've not been seeing you in class. It was a very large class too. I've not been seeing you very active in the beginning. What happened? She said she has learned all she needed to learn. Why she paid for the course was because she wanted to learn Excel and she has learned enough already. I was like, wow. So
No.
it made me conclude and say, so people are just there and say this is their own area of expertise. They don't need extra. This is what they need, and they are good at that. They just want to be good at that. That's how people are. So another people will say it's just Power BI they want to be good at, but they just want to have an idea of what other things look like, which is beautiful, which I always agree. And there's something called that. There's a post I posted some time ago on LinkedIn, and there's this guy that wrote a book. He's a data analyst author, right? He commented on it and said, I think I was talking about what type of learning is best, in this our space. So now people were giving comments. People were giving his own comment was the T learning system. The T learning, you know how the shape of T is, right? So you learn broad and then you learn deep. So it means that in that deep, maybe 2 or 3 tools deep. So have knowledge of a lot of things, but be good at least two. That's what he was talking about, which is very beautiful, and which is what I expect. I advise everyone to also, adopt as well. Just be good at something. Know that this one. Don't joke with me. It's my area at all. You cannot drag it with me, right? That's how it is. So you will learn the Excel, learn the Power BI, and you will now decide along the line. In fact, maybe you might be good at everything, but I know it's not easy because these tools are so broad, right? You might know a lot, but there is this one that you are passionate about. Forget it. I know a lady that is so passionate about SQL, but she started learning. She was so good. She started learning the other time, but she fell in love with SQL. She's an SQL guru. right? But along the line, sometime last year, she was so interested. She now went back to start learning. She wants to learn Power BI because she needs it. She wants to have an idea. When people are talking, she wants to be able to, be bold enough. So we had some classes together. Even she has this kind of events, right? Used to have this kind of boot camp and all that. She invited me to come and help her do the Power BI leg of it. So imagine she paying me to do that. So she felt like something she could have just done. It was easy. It's not something like, that kind of thing at the end of the day. But now she's actually, good at it. So that I'm just saying that to build a foundation on the learning journey and all that. So we've touched SQL, we've touched Excel. All of them, they are intertwined in the sense that you can use one to do the other thing. But okay, let's proceed. As long as we proceed, we'll get to explain each of these tools very well. So I want to move to the next slide. We know we have this already, how we are going to proceed for Excel, introduction to which is today. We are going to be touching this part of it. And let me see the
Marcy,
next.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you have question?
Okay, so sorry. Yeah,
Good. Okay.
can be used independently without like okay, or is it that the three tools has to be used together to achieve what you want to achieve, or you can use it independently?
You can use them independently. So,
Okay.
for
So can it be
example,
used like can the three
I'm
be
listening.
used at the same time? Like
Oh, yes, yes. But I will explain that. In fact, let's just even use today to get this thing. It's very good that you have a good, clear foundation. And thank God you are working and you understand DB and all that. So it makes it beautiful
yeah.
for me. It makes it even easy for me. So Excel, I work in an organization that do not have DB, do not have all those things. They gather their data using Excel tables and all that, right? We do that sometimes
Yeah.
in Wema Bank. You want to gather quickly. BSC, help us with data, help us with this data, collect it from branches. Branches impute everything, right? Now, when they finish
Yeah.
imputing, we want to send it to Madam Ima, we want to send it to D. We are not just going to send it like that. We have to analyze it, look for patterns, look for some. We have to summarize the data for executive to understand easily because they will not go back and be checking, okay, which branch has the highest, which branch has we want to summarize it for them. So there are
Yeah.
different ways to summarize it. We can summarize it using pivot table, or we can even summarize it building a visual for them to make it to beautify it and to make it like a storytelling report. So all these particular things can be done in Excel,
Okay.
right? All these things like visualizing the data, analyzing the data, collecting the data, they can be done in Excel. However, what happens? Excel has limitations.
Mm.
Somebody can go there and delete the file. You say
Yes, and it
somebody
saves
love.
automatically.
Exactly. Somebody can go there and misuse it. Even though you apply some data security and all that, you might even mistakenly delete the file yourself, you that generated the file, even if other people don't have the right to delete it. You that you generated it, maybe you just mistakenly click something, everything gets lost, or it can get corrupted. Another thing that happen is that Excel has limitation in terms of space. Excel can only take 1 million rows of data.
Mm.
1 million rows. Now, so when you get to even 700,000, 800,000, you see that Excel will be hanging. It
Yeah.
becomes slower. It becomes slower because the data is too large, right? That is where database now came in place, and so database used to store large amounts of data. That is why we can now spool from SQL and spool 1 million rows and all that. Is storing a lot of data. For example, in the banking sector that we are in, a lot of data are being stored, a lot of data are being gathered. Only ATM transactions alone, you know how many thousands of people perform a transaction in a week? Imagine.
Hmm.
So Excel will not be able to store those information, right? But databases are able to store that, and we are now able to query or call out this data. Query is just saying, what is just a simple term. Call out this data so that we can see it from where it's being stored.
Yeah.
That is where SQL come in place. that we are able to now call it out and do manipulation, change it, update it, do all those kind of little things with it, like formatting the data, analyzing the data using SQL. Because the large data, we cannot now take it to Excel again and start doing, unless we want to take a proportion of it to Excel. But we cannot take the whole 1 million. Imagine we want to take all the whole customers of our bank and put it in Excel. It's not possible. So that's where
No.
SQL or Toad or the like come in play. SQL or database rather comes in play to be able to spool out or query out large amounts of data sets. Now, the
Mhm.
key difference between Excel now and SQL, I've said some things already, which is large amount of data, right? You can do a lot of manipulation, right? You can do a lot of manipulation with SQL or with databases than Excel. But Excel can visualize, whereas SQL cannot visualize. You cannot start building dashboard in SQL. In your SQL server or Toad or Postgres. You cannot build dashboard there,
Yeah.
right? You cannot build a
Yes.
report. So a report is more or less like a dashboard, but I'm going to explain the difference between the dashboard and the report to you as we proceed. It might be Geometry that might do that, but I will also make mention of it or reference it as we proceed. So um because we can't do that now with SQL, Power BI now comes in play. Power BI can deal with large number of data set because it's going to be stored in Power Queries. Not like sometimes also there are some things we call in Power BI that we say direct query and import mode. Import mode is saying import the data into Power BI, while direct is saying just connect it to the database. It's just like a connection. You know what people used to call APIs, connector. That's what it's also something similar. It's a connector. So we can connect to different databases. We can connect to SQL, we can connect to the SQL, we can connect to Oracle, which is in our place we use Toad. You can connect to Python, we can connect to different kind of databases or sources. Now, when we get to that bridge, we also
Okay.
see a lot of sources that we can connect to Azure database, a lot of them. There are many there, like so much that we can connect to in Power BI. Whereas in Excel, yes, we can connect to a web data, like Wikipedia to go and connect, pull out data from Wikipedia. We can do that on the web. We can connect
Wow.
to, on Excel, we can connect to maybe a PDF file to pull out a table from that. But you see, that's how far it can go. And, like I said, it has little amount of record that it can also take. But you see, for SQL, imagine the millions of rows and Power BI that it can handle.
Mm.
Now, but there's a thing as well. Power BI, the more data it loads, the more slower it becomes. But there are some things
Mm.
we call optimization, where you optimize your script, optimize your data so that it doesn't pull out, it doesn't get slower. There's something we also call incremental refresh in Power BI. What does incremental refresh mean? Is that, we have record of all customers from last year. We store them into Power BI, but we don't want it to be refreshing every day, right? To be refreshing audio from last year again. Once we say refresh on a daily basis, we want it to only add up new record. Do you understand? So let everything that has been there since 2025 be there, but add new record. That's what incremental refresh is. So it doesn't take time to refresh. That's beautiful,
Okay.
right? But you will get to see all those things as we proceed, right? Now, so I've explained Power BI, I've explained what Power BI, but we'll get to navigate on the interface and all that even as we proceed. I don't know if you have any
Okay.
question.
Um. Uh. No, really, because you've already explained. It's like the three has its own advantage and disadvantages, right?
God bless you.
There are limitations. Let me just say, call
Mm-hmm.
it limitations. It doesn't take a large number, like I think he said it only take like is it 1,000 or what? I'm
Excel,
not sure.
1 million.
For
Excel,
Excel, 1 million,
yeah,
yes. And
one
for
million
SQL, it doesn't.
capability.
Excel does, yes. And for
Yes.
SQL, you said okay, yeah, you said SQL doesn't have data visualization. And for Power BI, you made mention that it makes use of connectors, and then
Yes.
you made mention of one limitation that it
Yes,
has.
I didn't finish Power BI well then. That's correct because Power BI is just a standalone tool, right? That you pull data into it to visualize. You can
Okay.
also pull data into it to clean the data, analyze the data, and then visualize the data. Do you understand? So Power BI is just empty. It's just you just going there to push in your data to visualize it. So that is why it works with
Okay.
connector. You
Okay.
understand? So a
Okay.
connector is saying
Yeah.
connectors or sources, like they call it, is sources. So where is the data coming from? The data is coming from Azure. The data is coming from SQL. The data is coming from Oracle. The data is coming from SQL. Yes, but where is the database? K2DB or K2 objects, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the data
Yeah.
is coming from Excel, or the data is coming from SharePoint, online SharePoint that you shared
Yeah.
to branches and all that is coming from there, or it's coming from an Excel file in your local computer. So you push them into Power BI to clean the data, analyze the data, and visualize it. Remember, Excel, the data, you just open the data in Excel format, you analyze it, you clean it and analyze it, and then you visualize it in Excel. SQL,
Hmm.
the data is already stored in the DB there. Querying it, SQL is structured query language, is a language that is used to communicate to the database. So it's a simple English language, but not really necessarily simple, but it's English language, right? But that is what it's called. Now, Power BI now, like I said, has what we call, it has three structures, right? The Power BI itself, Power BI service, Power Query. They are all in
Hmm.
that same package. Excel has Power Query too, right? But don't worry, don't fret, right? It's just for you to have an idea. If you are noting it down, you can also note it down. It will help you later when we are going deeper. Now,
Okay.
Power Query is just a view that allows us to manipulate and clean our data, right? It allows us to clean data, large amount of data. It allows us to manipulate it seriously. Now, it's in Power BI, so you can move from Power BI. When you open your Power BI desktop, you just need to click on. Okay, no, let's not go there. Let me not confuse you. Let me not pressure you with it, right? But don't worry, we'll get to that bridge, and you get to see it.
Okay.
Yeah. So Power BI, I said it connects to data, pulls the data, and you clean the data there in Power BI. Then you visualize the
Yes.
data in Power BI. Do you understand now?
Yes, I
So
do.
what now happens when we have visualized the data? What now happens? Is it that do we just leave it like that? No, that is where Power BI service comes in play. Power BI service is a place where we share this report that we have built. Do you understand? It's an online environment. So Excel is not online. It's on your desktop. But we have Excel online, which is going to be translated to SharePoint and the like. Now, Power BI desktop is the one that is on your desktop, local computer. Is
Okay.
used for building the report. Why SQL? Yes, you download it in your local computer, but it's connecting to a server or a DB, right? So yes,
Yes.
SQL can also connect to a DB and all that, but it can also connect. Oh, they said this meeting will end in 10 minutes. Oh, this is, you see why I used the wrong this thing. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, so SQL now if you are using it, not maybe you're not using your Wema Bank laptop, right, because of the security and all that, you can now connect SQL with your local computer and pick Excel file into SQL. It's just like you mimicking it as
Yes.
a database. Do you understand? But don't worry, we'll
Yeah.
get there. Yeah, we'll get there. So I've explained all these things to you. But the main thing I want to cover today, I think we've covered part of all the things I want to mention today, and I'm glad, which is just to explain all this overview about it, right? So Excel Foundation,
Mhm.
which is this Excel Foundation is not just the Excel Foundation, is the foundation of data analytics as a whole, right? So one of the things I want you to note is that everything we say in every section is a foundation for the next because
Okay.
they are similar. So if you know this one, it's easier when you know the other one. It makes it
Okay.
easy for you to know the next one will be stage you'll be moving to. You will now begin to see, okay, this is where this is coming from. Okay, I remember we did this in this place here. That's how it is.
Okay.
So data analytics is a process of examining raw data to discover patterns, draw conclusion, and support decision making. So what are they? Examining raw data to discover patterns, to discovering patterns, draw conclusion or insight to support decision making. So the data that they've imputed, that they've collected from the brand, is not just that's just data. It's just raw data. Everybody impute, oh, do you have a laptop? Yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no. It's raw. So what does data is, as a data analyst, we want to draw pattern. What are these patterns we can be drawing? We can say, okay, oh, which branch, they've imputed branch, zone, or region, as the case may be, and
Yes.
then yes and no or count. So I will now begin to analyze pattern and say, okay, in this count of, I would say count of yes per zone or per region, it will tell me, okay, the number of for each region, this is the account. This is, so I can see a pattern already that maybe Lagos has more laptop than other zone. Is already a pattern. That's what data analysis, or that's what analyzing data is all about. You are not just giving them the way the branches filled it and say, take, go and take it. You are analyzing it to bring another thing. So you would have seen now that even as your normal role, you are already doing data analysis
Hmm.
in your normal role already, right? So there are stages. I don't know if that's in this. That's what I was telling Jamiloji, that I don't think that was in this slide, and I think it wasn't. Okay. There are stages to data analytics. I'm going to send that to you later. Or Jamiloji will
Okay.
send that as well. We have what we call the collecting of data or collection of data. Okay, no, there are phases in data analysis or processes. First of all, as a data analyst that is given a job to do, what are the things expected of you? First of all, is to understand the problem. Understand the problem, understand the data. I always add that to it. So you want to know, okay, they've given you and say, okay, oh, Kemi, we are having issues with card in our bank or in our business. Some branches or some locations complain that cards get to them late, or we are not having good sales in some locations. That's all they told you. And they say, please, this is the data. Help us to find out how to solve this problem. First of all, you need to understand the business. You need to understand the problem. Okay, what kind of cards? What type of cards? What is the location? What is the count? You need to understand what the business entails. You need to understand the data that they are providing for you. You need to understand, okay, what is this data talking about? What is this column? What is this one? What is this one? You need to understand every bit of it. Take your notepad, write all those things down. Okay, this column is saying this column. If you don't do all these things, when you start analyzing, you just discover that you are analyzing what they already know. And then not just that, when you're analyzing, you also discover that you are just analyzing vanity KPIs because they
Yeah.
don't need it. You don't need it because you don't understand what it is. So you need to understand every bit of the columns, every bit of the data, what it is speaking to. Right? So the next thing is collect data collection. You collect the data. Okay, oh, I've understand the problem. I know the data I'll be needing, right? The what you want to visualize, what you want to achieve. The next thing is, where do we get the data from? What database? How do I get the data? What assets do I need? Which data am I getting externally? Which data am I getting from you guys? All those kind of things. That's what collection of data is. The next step
Okay.
is analysis, where you begin to analyze the data that you've collected. No, sorry. Process or clean the data,
Okay.
right? You process the data, you clean the data. After processing and cleaning the data means you've collected this data. Some of these data are not stored well, especially the ones that are collected as Excel. They are not stored well. They are stored in a maybe some people have gone and input in the place they are supposed to put yes, they've gone to put Y0 S. They wanted to put E, they put zero. They wanted to put O, they put zero. It's not stored properly. Different people are inputting rubbish and all that. Or yes, and maybe you have a date column and you want to extract, you have a date time column and you want to extract time from it. That is what cleaning entails. We are going to go deeper. You will see us cleaning data as we proceed. Right.
Okay.
So after cleaning and processing the data, what's the next step? You want to now start analyzing the report or the data to find trends and patterns. After analyzing the report, you now begin to interpret and share your findings through visuals or reports. Those are the processes or the steps. So we now
Okay.
have different kinds of analysis or analytics. We have the descriptive. This one is just saying what happened. You want to summarize the data, past data, right? Using average, totals, charts, And when descriptive is saying what has happened. They give you 2025 data and say, tell us what has happened. That's descriptive. You are describing the data.
Okay.
Diagnostic is talking about why did it happen. So sometimes also when you are doing analysis, you are actually going to be doing sometimes you'll be doing three of them together. Sometimes you'll be doing all of these four together. Right? But you need to know which stage you are. I've seen a person that called the that does not know the difference, and the person called himself a data analyst. Do not know the difference between prescriptive and descriptive, right? So it's very important that you know these things. It's even simple English though, but some people still feel that it's not important. But it is very important because when you are engaging stakeholder, you want to know, oh, I'm doing a diagnostic analysis. Oh, I'm doing a prescriptive analysis, right? So
Okay.
predictive, as it sounds, as it implies, what will happen using trend. Oh, okay, this has happened. This is what is going to happen. So, in fact, many tools now, like even Power BI, you can even be doing prescriptive analysis in Power BI to tell you future analysis, right? There are so many
Yeah.
ways you could do prescriptive analysis, not just by futuristic or using AI. And there are so many things we can put in place to say, oh, by using average and this, okay, if this has happened before, let's do it. What do you think will happen in the next 5 years or in the next 5 months? Yeah, right. That's prescriptive. So, predictive. Prescriptive is what should we do? At the end of the day, this is what you always do. You want to recommend something. You want to say, this is what I think you should do. But let me tell you the truth, and most times we don't always prescribe because the people we are visualizing or analyzing for, they are experts in the business area. They know the business more than us. That's just the truth. So we just want to show them trends and insights and then leave the remaining one for them. They know what to do, but we always recommend, right? That's that for the data analytics. I don't know if you have any question.
No, not for now.
Okay, good. So, statistics, right? I'm very, very sure you know all these things already, but we are just mentioning it for the purpose of, recording and all that. This thing is saying we have less than 1 minute. I think I need to create another one quickly. Or maybe I can even start this again. Is it possible? Surprise it didn't work on. Oh, it